Women said men ain't the prize, now men agree, and suddenly being a bachelor is a problem.
What do you think about the men who choose to remain bachelors?
It's funny because I probably have that mindset this day and age. I just turned 44 today. Today is my birthday. But when I was in my early 20s, I thought about marriage and settling down. But now it's like the bachelor life is better. You know, people out here getting married and getting divorced a couple months later. So until you find true love and happiness, there's nothing wrong with being a bachelor.
If you've got a little black book of 3, 4, 5, 6 women that you can call, take care of everything you need on that Friday. Maybe you have one that dresses up nice and comes to the company picnic with you. Maybe you've got one that's just down and dirty and shows up in a high heels and a trench coat. Why would you give that up for marriage when you're going to get divorced? She's going to take the kids. She's going to take your money. And she's going to destroy you. There is no net benefit today for men to get married.
For decades, the narrative painted bachelors as lonely, incomplete, and somehow failing at life. Marriage was the finish line, and men were expected to sprint toward it. But in 2026, more men are casually walking in the opposite direction, and not even looking back.
Let's talk about red flags and jobs. My mum used to be, tell me, in cabin crew. She used to be an air hostess. She said once one of the overnight stays, a captain who was married slid a note under her door saying, I'm in room such and such.
So captains, red flag.
On LinkedIn, we need to like segregate them into like, you don't date these people.
Stop. Brokers, you're done.
City boys in general.
City wankers, whatever they call them.
bank
right?
wankers.
Actors, you're gonna kiss some girl, another actor, and you're gonna fall in love.
Can't bear it. Can't bear the acting.
Influencers.
Well, you're married to one, so.
Yeah. Models, I will say.
Oh my God! I love that. I think models are fine.
That's a surprising one, but
I think it's just you would assume that they're not, just because they're models and they're good looking.
Army boys, red flags,
Well, they
because
go
the
away
girls
for so
don't live in the
long.
barracks, and then they just
go wild.
I mean, obviously footballers, like, duh.
Oh, well, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah,
right
you
there,
do.
I think.
That's literally just written all over
That's
it.
a choice
rugby
you're
players,
making.
well-known red flag.
Really?
People don't think it. They are really, really bad.
Interesting.
I'm thinking that all men in sports are probably a bit of a red flag because they have so much time alone.
I actually just think any really rich men as well. I just feel like they have power and they know that they do and they abuse it.
Basically, we just think there's very little men who aren't a walking red
There's a
flag.
really small pool of
slim
good
pickings.
people.
And what's shocking people isn't that men are single, it's that they're comfortable. No desperation, no panic, no rush to lock anything down. Just peace, routine, and a life that doesn't revolve around constant approval.
The only reason Western men are having one wives rather than being polygamous is because they don't have the balls. They have zero courage. They are still cheating on their wives, they're still going to strip clubs, they're still joining OnlyFans, they're still watching pornography. They are not monogamous in the slightest. The only difference is they are shit scared of their wives. They don't have balls. If they truly had balls, they would either be totally honest with her, or they would marry the other women that they're cheating with rather than just using them as sex objects and invest in these other women. But they don't have balls. So stop having this narrative that other men are so lustful, they marry 2-3 times. Your man is dying to leave you. He's dying to be with other women. He just doesn't have courage.
Okay, put your hand on your heart. I am not available for this toxic drivel. Throw it in the garbage. I am only available for divine alignment with a legacy king, a man who's loyal, committed, devotional, that we have compatibility and lifelong passion with. That's what I'm available for. That's what you focus on. That's what you attract. Some of these gurus and teachers have their own wounding, their own bias, their own lens. You have to look when they quote data, what's the culture they were from? What's their own personal experience, their own personal bias? What kind of wounding do they have? And if you dig just a tiny bit on this teacher, you'll see what you need to see. But focus on what you want to attract. Focus on what you desire. Don't focus on the fear, the cultural BS, what most people are doing. You're not most people. You are the feminine who's done your healing work. You have stepped into your divine alignment and your radiance. You are only available for the best partnerships, the best men. So turn off the rest. That's for them. That's not for you.
Turns out, when you remove chaos, a lot of men thrive. No emotional roller coasters, no endless negotiations, no walking on eggshells. Just structure, control, and the freedom to live without being constantly evaluated.
Men and women can be friends, but wait, before you fight me in the comments, let me explain. If my partner already had friends of the opposite gender before meeting me, there's nothing for me to say. However, there are boundaries. So if I see touching, flirting, I see that the energy's a little shifted into a romantic vibe, hell no. It's cool until it's not. We won't tolerate in my house is new friends. It's one thing to have friends from the past that you've grown up with. It's another to make new friends. That's weird. I want to know what's your take on this. Comment below.
Now suddenly, the same bachelor lifestyle that was mocked is being questioned. Why don't men want commitment anymore? Because for many, commitment started looking less like a partnership and more like a liability.
Hi. Sorry I haven't been posting. I honestly just needed to take a break from social media. But I talked a lot about what I was not looking for in a guy. So just want to know, does this person exist? Is it possible to find a guy who is funny, attractive, liberal, cares about the environment, is a cowboy, is Glenn Powell? Okay, he doesn't have to be Glenn Powell, but is it possible to find like a country guy who can is handy, but is also liberal? Is that a thing?
Men aren't avoiding marriage out of fear, they're avoiding bad deals. When the cost of entry keeps rising and the benefits keep shrinking, staying single stops looking like a compromise and starts looking like common sense.
Standards for men in 2026 is practically below the floor. It's in the fucking basement at this point. It's to the point where all you have to do to win a girl over is plan a date and just lead the way a little bit. Like, all these girls are just like, the way to win me over is just plan a date. Bro, is that all it fucking takes nowadays? Like, what are you guys saying? Are you guys saying, like, I don't know, what do you want to do for a date? Well, what should we do? If you genuinely like a girl, all you need to do, and you can tell she's kind of into you, all you need to do is lead the way so she can turn her brain off. That's literally it. Saturday night, you're free. Okay, we're going to dinner. Wear something nice. I'm going to take care of everything. It is that easy.
What really stings is the indifference. It's not that men are angry or bitter, they're just unbothered. And nothing disrupts expectations more than a man who doesn't need validation to feel complete.
I've noticed that there's this huge gap in communication between what men think women want them to say and how women actually take it. Example, you have a guy find your social media and he says, if I met you in person, I wouldn't be able to keep my hands off you. And I don't think men realize this isn't really a compliment. One, most social media profiles are heavily curated and depict potentially a misleading version of somebody. Two, a lot of women would like to be valued for more than what they look like, despite what they put out on social media. If you present yourself as the type of man that would offer to be physical with somebody before meeting them, it's just a red flag in general.
A lot of women expected men to always be in pursuit mode. Always chasing, always proving, always trying to earn a spot. But when men step out of that role entirely, the dynamic flips, and not in a comfortable way.
Here's the thing about the single men here in Utah. It was not long ago that I found myself as a single mom out dating in the Utah streets. There are about 3 men to every 1 single girl. So what that does is it inflates the men's ego like you wouldn't believe. It's not only because they have so many women to choose from, it does give them this grass is greener type of mentality, even married men. And the Peter Pan syndrome is very strong here. You're dating, they don't want to grow up, they don't want to commit, and also there's so many pretty girls. Like, why would they settle down with one that's so silly, even if they're in their 40s, 50s, like, big problem here. We cannot ignore the church's influence as well, because the patriarchy of the Mormon church has a big influence on the dating culture here. And I am going to generalize a little bit, but in general, I grew up in the Mormon church. We are taught to honor our husband, that he comes first, that the men are held up on pedestals, so to speak, because they have the priesthood. So they're the ones that are going to take us into the celestial kingdom, the last days. They're going to call us up, resurrect from the ground. They're the only ones that can do that. And in my opinion, that creates women that are pick-me women. So the women's self-worth is already pretty low, especially if you grew up in the church or you're freshly out of the church. The boy-mom relationships that we all kind of make fun of on social media, of like, I would date my son if I could, That is very strong here in Utah. Moms treating their sons like they are the golden children. They hold the priesthood. They fawn over them and make them feel like they are untouchable. They are the best thing ever. The moms definitely have a big part in inflating those men's egos. There you go. Don't come to Utah if you're a single girl.
And let's be honest, modern bachelors aren't struggling. They've got their finances in check, their routines dialed in, and their peace protected. They're not missing out, they've just redefined what winning looks like.
I'm not sure why nobody wants to speak up about this, but I guess I'll be the one to do it. There is a serious shortage of attractive, eligible, mentally stable, emotionally available men. We need to get a search party together, figure out what has happened, where have they gone, and what do we do about this? Because it's a problem.
Look, I have said this before and I will say it again. There is no shortage of good men. It is simply that you don't see the men that are good men in your life as dateable. But they're probably good friends, like they're probably in your friend zone. And then for the good men that aren't in your life, it is because they're not looking to date. They probably spent far too long in a relationship that took advantage of their goodness. Those men are either working, they're either at home, or they're just hanging out with friends, or doing some sort of hobby in seclusion. So if you really do want a good man, you better look in your friend zone or do all that you can to put out positive energy about men, because they will see you and they might take a chance on you then.
Calling them commitment phobic is an easy label, but it ignores reality. These men are committing to themselves, their goals, and a lifestyle that doesn't come with constant stress attached.
So I'm going to defend the passport bros. I am not a passport bro, don't want to fucking compete, all right? But realistically, maybe some of them are going over there, you know, for maybe that. But y'all, again, get so brainwashed into thinking that, like, men don't really want something real. Look at the information that is being exposed to men. You aren't shit unless you can fucking give me all this money and all the women want. All you women are just fighting over the 5% of men. Like, y'all know you're doing that, right? And then you have women that are so fucking delusional that are not even a 6, that are like, I deserve a motherfucker that makes $1 bajillion a fucking half a second. You ain't getting them. Like, what the fuck? Like, so women, that's the information they're peddling out. So they're casting aside like men from their own area, because they assume that they deserve something that they really don't. You know, that woman, okay, look, when it comes to women saying they want the highest of quality men, do you want me to bring up pictures of the women that are really going to get them? Because those women are fucking gorgeous. I mean, like, perfect. Everything about them is just flawless. That's who's going to get those men. So the reality with the passport bros is very different. Because I've seen women from different countries going like, oh, you, like, you know, she came on here with a, I don't know, that's like a fake Asian accent, but she was like, oh, you mad because I take your man? Like, and it's like, you don't want them. Why do you care? Like, you don't give a fuck. To you, they're bottom of the barrel. Why does it matter to you? You don't want them anyways. But those women from those areas, what you think? They're just going to like a third world country to where everybody's like, please, can I have 5 cents? And they're like, I'll marry you. Like, it's like, no. Those women are educated too. It's just different cultures. They're looking for different things. They don't look at men like you should be a walking bank and buy all my shit and shut the fuck up. Like, it's like modern feminism right now ain't about equality. It ain't. It's about enslavement of men and showing that we're fucking better. Ask women if are men or women better. They're like, women are way better. Men ain't shit. So that's what these men are hearing constantly. I'm not shit. I'm not worth anything. Goddamn, I just want something real. So they'll go somewhere to where that they feel the women ain't on that shit. So you can't just be like, oh, the passport bros fucking are terrible people. For what? For wanting to go find a beautiful Colombian girl that actually like wants to spend time with him for who he is? That's what most of them are genuinely looking for. So you swear like all these women are just so dumb. Please, American man, save me. Maybe some of them, but for the most part, there ain't nothing wrong with those women over there. There's nothing wrong. I've met women from different countries that were fucking educated, smart, and I was like, yo, if you didn't live in Australia, I'd fucking get you pregnant immediately so you had to stay here. Like, all types of shit. So it's not what you guys think. And if you don't want these men, why the fuck do you care where they go? Again, I'm not a passport bro, but I'm not going to knock the bros for trying to travel to find love, because it must be that important that they're traveling.
The uncomfortable truth is that many men saw what marriage and dating were offering and decided it wasn't worth the trade. Not because they couldn't participate, but because they didn't want to.
Men are weak. Like, you guys really are. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean most of you don't know how to approach women. You get nervous, you say the wrong thing, you fumble. It's okay though, because other things can do the talking for you. And let me tell you how I met my boyfriend, because this is a perfect example. So I'm in my apartment building waiting for the elevator, right? and this guy walks up and stands next to me. He didn't say anything, didn't try to talk to me, didn't try to shoot his shot, nothing. He was just standing there minding his business. And normally I wouldn't even look twice, because if you're not going to say anything to me, why would I care? But the elevator doors open and we both get in. And girl, his cologne took over that entire elevator in like 2 seconds. It was dark and smoky with this warm leather underneath. It wasn't loud or trying too hard. It was just there, sitting in that space. And it smelled expensive. It smelled like he had his life together. It smelled like someone I should probably get to know. So I'm standing there trying not to be obvious, but I keep stealing glances at him because this scent had my brain going crazy. And he still hasn't said anything to me. But I couldn't take it anymore, so I finally go, "What cologne is that? Because you smell really good." And he smiles and says it's Nomadic Night by Romus. Got it on TikTok for less than $40. I'm looking at him like, "Sir, you smell like $500 and you're telling me 40? We exchanged numbers that day and we've been together ever since. He didn't have to have game. He didn't have to say a single word. The cologne did all the talking for him. Results may vary, but that cologne literally got him a girlfriend just by standing there. If it can do that, it can do anything. Links below. But it sells out every time, so don't wait on it."
And now the frustration is building, because the system only works when men are chasing it. When they stop, when they're content being bachelors, the entire expectation structure starts to crack.
I look so rough, and my voice is shot, but this is a no for the girls. Maybe a warning for the men, but it's mostly just a no for the girls. My friends and I are doing such amazing, expert work trying to communicate with the men, trying to be our best selves, and they're not getting it. Like, they're not evolving. Like, I fear we might have to leave them behind in 2026. Like, we're gonna keep moving, and like, the girls have things to get done. Like, we can't wait for them to catch up anymore. Like, come on, keep it up. Let's go. We're moving.
At the end of the day, men didn't become bachelors by accident, they chose it. And when a man is genuinely at peace alone, there's no pressure you can apply to pull him back into something he already walked away from.
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.